Good morning or good afternoon. Afternoon, everybody. Hope you are well. Let me just making sure I'm coming through okay. Paul, how you doing, buddy? Is it rain? I wasn't sure if it's rain or I apologize if I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly. Ian, how you doing, mate? Hope you are all well and everybody is trading well and profitably like Paul was in August. So today was the first day in Dubai. I went out this morning. I always have my coffee in the morning, and I went outside, and it's actually quite pleasant. So thankfully, I think this is the start of it cooling down a little bit, which is nice. I was on my bike last night and everything. So anyway, so let's talk the markets and enough of my shite. It is NFP today. We know that. Big day. First Friday of every month. Non-farm payrolls. The amount of jobs added to the US economy, taking away the agricultural sector. So we'll go into that in a little bit. But I want to talk quickly about this CAD Swiss. So CAD Swiss I entered. I can't remember if I was talking about this on Monday on the stream. I think I was talking about it, but I hadn't entered it. And I think I got into it. I'm losing track of the days, but I think I got into it yesterday. So I'm triggered in here now, and it actually looks quite nice. You know, we got triggered in, fair enough. We went offside for a little bit, but the stop loss was there for a reason. I talked about this on my Friday morning workshop on the website. You know, the premise of placing your stop loss for me is that if your stop loss gets hit, the premise of the change or the idea of that trade is wrong, right? So coming down here, although you're seeing yourself go into a little bit of negative and minus numbers, you know, it's still, the idea of that trade was still right. We're still okay because our stop loss is down here. We'd not breached through these lows, and you're just waiting and being patient. And now, you know, this is starting to look pretty good again. You know, we breached through this resistance area. We are now getting some sort of price acceptance above here, which is good. We're not getting the immediate fake out and the fall down. So this looks not too bad. Above the moving averages, that 20 period and 200 has now crossed over. And this is looking good. And if we look at it on smaller time frames, this is on my watch list as well. It looks pretty clean, right? It looks quite clean for a cup with handle here. So I'm looking for, I know we may not get it because of NFP today. You're expecting some volatility in the markets, of course. But if we can get a breakout retest here for continuation, I would add a second position onto this on this breakout retest. The breakout retest, although I haven't got in on the last two have been right. And I think actually the last 4 breakout retests that I've taken have all been winning trades. Or should I would have taken those 2. The 2 previously that I did take were winning trades as well. So this CAD Swiss is nice. You know, I'm going to keep this open for now. I've not put my TP in there just because I really like how it is. You know, I do take profits at 1-to-1. I know I've already said that. The only time I don't is if I'm in the market. Let's say I'm in the market and this starts coming up. TP1 is roughly around here. But if I get some decent price action just prior to that TP, you know, I'll take it out. You know, one of the famous sayings is, you know, stick to your rules 100%, but also know when to break your rules. And that for me is one time where I'll potentially break my rules if I'm looking at the charts. So this CAD Swiss I like. It's risk on. Swiss is quite weak. The CAD has been lagging behind those commodity currencies. So a breakout and retest of that area would be quite nice. Okay, SPX. So SPX today. Now, we are on an uptrend. The SPX looks good. The SPX looks good. You know I'm a technical trader, so irrelevant of what happens today, the numbers that come out, your bias off the bat has to be continuation to the upside. You know, we had a complex corrective here, A, B, C, and we breached through B wave, but notice how we breached through it. So we've not just motored on like we kind of have done in the past couple of months, really since the start of summer, but we breached this B wave, we pushed up, okay, it's had a slight fake, but we had 16 hours of price action before this break up. So this is good. I don't mind this. It wasn't a breakout trade for me, but you know, the SPX looks good. So it is a red or black scenario tonight. I think they're expecting Let me just get the data up. I'm pretty sure they're expecting 750K jobs added. So obviously, if that number comes in good, the SPX will rise. If the unemployment number comes in good, the SPX will rise. Okay, that's fairly certain, right? We know that. But the only thing that personally, if I get the numbers up here. Here we go. So unemployment, they're expecting, can you see that? I'm not sure if you can see that, sorry. Let me just close this down a little bit. There we go. So we're expecting unemployment to come in at 5.2, a better from 5.4 last month. And we're expecting non-farm payrolls to come in at 750K, which is actually a reduction on the 943 last month. So anywhere in or around those expectations, I think the market will like. I don't think we want to see a massive increase in numbers. We don't want that inflationary pressures to come back in or around expectations, maybe even a slight miss. As long as this employment, comes in quite well at expectations, slightly better, the SPX will like it. You'd expect that SPX to obviously increase on that. Now, even saying that, as a technical trader, the bias has got to be to the upside. So because of what we're seeing here, this is nice. And I remember maybe 2-3 months ago, we had the same kind of similar thing where the NFP was coming out, but the indexes looked quite good. And we got that break anyway. So I think the technicals do give you a little bit of an indication prior to those numbers coming out. Now, I could eat my hat on that. I'm not saying that's 100% going to happen, but I would be more surprised if it came in worse. If it came in worse than the SPX rising. So, bonjour, Alan. I don't know what that means, mate. Do you want to translate to English? Ian, you say that you may take a second CAD Swiss long trade on a break and retest. What your risk be? So 2%. I would keep the same, Ian. I'm happy taking 2 positions. I wouldn't take 3, but because I've got this 4-hour breakout and my stop is 65 pips away, I'm okay with that, and I'm taking it kind of as a separate setup. Because it's a breakout retest. The stop loss if we get a breakout. If I zoom out here, if we get a breakout and retest here, let's say we get a hammer as our catalyst on high volume, my stop loss will be here, entry in here. So I consider it two separate trades. Yeah, correct. 4% risk total. So 2% here and 2% here. I'm happy doing that. I wouldn't take 3, but 2 is my personal maximum. I see some smoke coming. Yeah, everybody says that. It's my humidifier. Don't worry. I always put it on every morning because I've got dogs. But yeah, bonjour. Hope you start well. I appreciate that, mate. So yeah, I like this. I do really like this, and because of how clean it is as well, Ian. Because of how clean this is, and if we do get a nice setup, yeah, with how selective I am in my trading, happy to take that as another position because I like the bias. I like the idea of buying the CAD. I think it had a bit of a harsher reaction to that oil news coming out early on in the week, but with that risk on, Aussie's been strong, New Zealand's been strong, and I know their COVID situation has got a little bit better, but I think the CAD has been lagging behind and is due a little bit of strength. The CAD does have some data out today as well. However, I do really like this trade, so CAD Swiss, yeah, I'll happily take 2 there. Pound Swiss, I like your style. Thanks, mate. I tend to spread my... Yeah, I agree with that. I think 2... For me, 2 is my maximum, Ian. So I don't like to have more than 2 positions on in one currency pair or in one currency, just to kind of minimize that risk. So 4% maximum, basically. Pound Swiss. Now, Pound Swiss is nice as well. I would have taken this as a breakout if it had tagged this area. So if we'd come up and price action had tagged this area, and then we'd got this, 100% I would have taken this as a break. I know there was a few fakes up here, but that's okay with me. However, we are getting what looks to be a steady state retest. So this was a nice hammer bar. What I'm waiting for now is a proper retest of this area and a 20 period catch up. So right now, if we do get that, which we may or may not get, depending on what happens with the news a little bit later, I don't think we will, but I'll continue to watch it. If we do get a retest of this area, you're getting it on that 20 period SMA, you're getting it on that 200, and you're getting it on this previous resistance becoming potentially new support. So again, 3 little barriers to our trade, or confluences to our trade, which is good. And you're also getting potential risk on as well. So pound Swiss, I like that trade. That's probably the main one that's on my watch list, along with CAD Swiss. As Warren Buffett says, diversification is for those that don't know what they are doing. Yeah, there you go, Ian. That's a good quote. That's a good quote. Yeah, so yeah, for me, if I see a setup, because I am selective, you know, I take that setup, unless obviously I get more than 2. But pound Swiss there, I do like. I do like some cryptos, you know. I like Bitcoin right now. As a trading wise, from a longer term perspective, you know, I bought some at 35K, but from this is quite setting up not too bad. You know, we remember our 50% rule. So we're looking for 50% of this basing structure here. So we tag this area. We need a bit more price action here prior to this level. Whatever it gives us, a head and shoulders, V reversal, cup with handle, within a cup with handle. I just need more here. But this is looking good so far. We're going with that trend. Obviously, we're going with that trend. Look to be breaking out possibly of that 50K area. And when Bitcoin moves, we know Bitcoin really does move. So from a 4-hour breakout, this looks not too bad. And same with Dash. So Dash, I don't know if you guys trade crypto or have crypto, but this is not looking too bad as well. And I actually like this a little bit better because we're coming from this uptrend and it looks to be a nice corrective. Breaking through that corrective, got our basing structure here, back to that 20. So what I'm looking for with this one is just similar to Bitcoin, just a little bit more. You know, just a little bit more. Let that 20 catch up. Get that roughly around 50, 40, 50% digestion period and take that to the upside. Look at that daily. You know, look at that daily back to that 20 from this push. This all looks healthy. And I like Dash to the upside. Just need a little bit more. Do I still watch Pound CAD? Yeah, I've got Pound CAD on my list, actually. Pound CAD shorts now. So Pound CAD, I was actually looking at this V reversal on this 30-minute, 1-hour chart. Broken through now. The only thing I don't like about it is potentially this pattern here. Okay, but yeah, I like it. I like it, Lam. I would prefer to get this on the daily chart, to be honest with you. So if we get our head and shoulders here, if we come down and squeeze into the area, I would be more comfortable taking it on this daily chart. But there is an argument there for a potential short. However, I just don't like where it is on the hourly. That's my only issue with the shorter time frames on Pound CAD. I like it on the 4-hour, right? You know, this price action is good. It certainly looks bearish. You know, we've again crossed through here. We're getting this context or this confluence on the daily. So this is good. There's just something, and I always talk about that kind of gut feeling. My gut feeling says, because of this hourly, I'm not really confident in this as a retest, depending on how it sets up, right? So right now, I'm not massively confident. Now, that could change, but at the moment, I'd rather wait for that daily chart. But as a short, I like the idea. I just don't like this on the hourly. So Pound CAD is on my watch list, but more for this daily breakout here. Yeah, cool. Sorry, I forgot to mention the SPX I was also looking at. So this SPX on this smaller time frames, which could potentially, if we get this before the numbers, it could be a nice little trade. And we got a head and shoulders here, or a cup with handle, if you want to call it here, squeeze into that area, broken through that area. And similar to Pound Swiss, we're getting that steady state retest. Now, if I do this to make it a bit cleaner, this hammer bar, right? This is the kind of hammer bar that my eyes light up for. Just this is not a trade, but just to kind of show you what I look for. Because look at the massive increase in volume that this hammer bar has got. Okay, you can say it's on London Open and Asian session has a bit less volume. Yes, but if I see, for example, if this had been a steady state and the 20 period had been coming up now, and I got that hammer bar here, right, that for me is perfect. That's exactly what I want to see. So I'm waiting for now this 20 period catch up. We could possibly get it, and basically a rejection, some sort of catalyst, like our hammer, like our engulfer, like our morning star, to get into that SPX longs. I like, I mean, you know, I like buying the SPX. There is an argument there on the 30-minute chart, but I would rather wait for this hourly. And the reason why I'd rather wait for the hourly is if you look at that context on the 30-minute, it doesn't look as clean, right, as it does on the hourly. So that hourly, you can just tell by looking at price action, it just looks a bit healthier, right? It looks a little bit nicer than it does on that 30-minute. So I'd rather wait for that 1 hour pullback. And if you do get it, you know, you can kind of put a rough estimate on it. So maybe not this hour, or probably not this hour, probably maybe next hour, maybe the one after. Your stops would be down here. So if you do get a catalyst, then you've got a little bit of room there to account for that NFP coming out. So I wouldn't take a long here if it was like an hour or half an hour before NFP, but because our previous swings down here, you've got a little bit of room. And NFP comes in good because we are on a trend. You know, the confluence is there with the higher time frames. That looks not bad as well. So I like that SPX to the upside. What else am I looking at? And finally, I think I'm looking at UK 100. So the UK 100 I am also looking at, but I feel with this, so with this little spike through here, this is not really what I wanted. You know, we can see the V reversal, come back, pull back, break in, increasing pressure, kind of squeeze into that area. I would have preferred this to accumulate here before taking that potential break. So I'll keep that on. If it fakes out, like I said, I think most of these may miss because of the decent data or obviously the NFP coming up today. But I'll keep an eye on it and I'll watch it. If it does, you know, we get a fake here, that's fine. I'm fine with fakes if it does end up accumulating and we can kind of get that kind of increased squeeze into that area. So you can just see if we change it to a line chart, right, you can kind of see that squeeze in we're getting here. So sometimes if you're not sure, you can take away the mess by putting onto a line chart, but the UK 100 I like as well. Daily looks good. We are going with that trend. The trend is your friend, as Jesse Livermore said very famously. Hey Rohan, mate, how you doing? Hope you are well, and happy Friday. So yeah, I think that's actually it for me today. CAD Swiss is the main one I want to watch. If you guys want me to look at anything, let me know now. I was thinking about doing an NFP stream, but to be honest, as a technical trader, I would be coming on for 15 minutes and just watching the numbers. I don't really trade it. I never have done. So I'd rather, you know, go out and, you know, have a beer or play golf and wait for the reaction to the numbers. And one thing I will say with news, right, and I was kind of talking about this morning, is if you are in a position, one of the kind of best things that I've done is go away for half an hour. Go away for an hour once the news comes in, because, you know, sometimes you get a reaction like this, or let's say the news comes out, we're on an uptrend, you kind of get an initial reaction. And if you're watching this, I've done this many times when I was learning, you take it out, right? And you're worried that this is going to go down quite quickly and hit your stop loss in a second. And then what happens? It comes back up in the direction of trend. So don't be worried if it does. I would say just stay away from the markets. Personally, I don't trade news. I like to stay away and just wait for the market's reaction and let it settle down. So that is my tip for today. Gold. Okay, let's look at gold. I did have a look at gold this morning. I didn't think there was anything there for me. Oh, I didn't look at the dollar, did I? Dollar looks short. There we go. That's the dollar. Dollar looks short. Unless today's news come... I mean, what you could get with the dollar, sorry, I'll go into it a little bit more deeper. What you could get in with the dollar, if that news comes in well, you could get initial spike, right? Because that's technically good for the dollar. if stocks push on, if dollar wants to continue acting as that safe haven asset, you could get dollar weakness. So possibly if you get decent number, you could get a slight spike, you know, that dollar possibly sold into. I could be completely wrong. This is just my personal bias before continuing to the downside. So yeah, I mean, I'm just going with the trend here. You know, it's nothing major. It's nothing technical. Just going with that trend. The trend says it's down, and I'm happy to play that way. Gold. Gold looks good. Gold looks okay, and it shows you. So look at this. You know, we talk about that 70-30 rule where markets trend 30% of the time and range or pull back 70. You kind of got a good indication there. But yeah, it looks to be in a slight wedging structure here. If you get a breakout, then it would look good. It would look good long, you know, with dollar potential weakness. The only thing with gold, if it's seen again as that safe haven, that inflation hedge, maybe you get gold and dollar moving the same way. But the bias technically has to be to the upside. And one thing I'll say, if you don't know on these patterns, if you get patterns like a wedging structure, the best wedges actually break 3/4 of the way through. Right? So the best wedges break 3/4 of the way through. So there's a little tip for you as well. But this looks good, Alan. I would just wait for confirmation. If you're not in it, I would wait for confirmation on that break. If you are in it, you know, your stop should be down there. And but the bias is certainly to the upside, I think, in gold. Again, you look at the daily, we are accepting of being above that 200. That 20 is now starting to curl over. We're getting our potential bigger V reversal. Yeah, that looks good, mate. That looks good to the upside. My bias would be buying it rather than selling it, to be honest. So if that's it, that'll be me for the week. Just so you know, if anybody's a member of the website or anybody's thinking a member of the website, we're doing our upgrades right now. So we've got quite big upgrades planned for next week. So hopefully it might take a few days, but should be relaunching around, I think, Wednesday or Thursday of next week, which is, yeah, very exciting for me. So if you are interested, looking to take your trading to another level, if you're not, then fine. But if you are, there's a link down below. Get a 7-day free trial, no credit card or anything like that. And yeah, maybe see some of you in there. All right, guys, have a great weekend. Remember, trade safe over that news. And I'll see you all on Monday. And that's it. Cheers, guys. Take care.